In the world of economic, cyber attacks were specifically cited as a clear and present danger to businesses and governments. In this lecture, we are going to shed some light on this dark art, and we'll explore together a number of terminologies that are related to cybersecurity. Such basic terminologies are very important to know for any person who wants to be updated with cybersecurity news, events, or attacks. And for sure, they will help you in managing the cyber risks within your organization. So, let's start. As all of you guys know, this course talks about managing the cyber risk. But before trying to understand what does risk mean in the cyberspace, we have to be aware of three concepts that every cybersecurity guy should clearly understand: asset, vulnerability, and threat. Because once you get a clear understanding of the three terminologies, that automatically will make you realize what are the things that you may consider as cyber risks and what you may not. The first terminology is the asset. Assets include anything, tangible or intangible, that has a value to your organization. That could be individuals, data, files, hardware, or anything. So, we can simply say the asset is anything that benefits my organization and I have to protect it. I have to pay money, time, effort to keep it safe. Because if I lost this thing, that will affect my organization in a bad way. And when I say anything, that even could include my reputation as an organization. The trust between me and my customers could be one of the most important assets. Simply because it's worth a lot to me, and if I lose it, my organization will get hurt.
The second terminology is the vulnerability, which simply means the weaknesses in the asset that could be exploited by one or more threats. The vulnerability could be a weak used password or unupdated software in your system. So, any characteristic of your asset, any behavior you act towards your asset could be a vulnerability, could be a weak point that the enemies of your organization or the cyber theft could use to harm your assets.
Okay, move to the third terminology that we have, which is the threat. People identify threats as the potential for vulnerabilities to run into attacks and cause serious harms to the system's assets. The vulnerability could be virus, intrusion, backdoor, etc. And if you have noticed here, I highlighted the word potential. That means the threat could occur and couldn't, so it's a probability. Okay, move to the most important part, the core of this lecture. Now we all know what is the asset, what does the vulnerability mean, and what the threat is. But what about our first question? What is the cyber risk and where it locates? Between the asset, vulnerability, and threat, the risk is located exactly in this threat space. Cybersecurity experts identify the risk as the result of a threat exploiting a vulnerability in one or more assets. So, once you have a valuable thing for your organization, and you know this thing has a weak point that could be exploited by someone or something and somehow, then you and your organization are under a risk. This is a very awesome example that will simplify the whole idea and makes you remember our terminologies and not forget them forever. You can imagine that we have a boy who walks over the hill beside a lake. 3 starving crocodiles are living in the lake, and of course they are looking for their delicious meal. We can consider the crocodiles here as a source of a threat, the boy as the asset that has a value to us and we want to protect it, and the ambulance of the hill as a vulnerability. If the boy's foot slipped because of the imbalance of the hill, the crocodiles for sure will devour him. Here's another example that's more realistic. Suppose you own a system that allows weak passwords. For example, it allows the user to set the password as password1234 without special characters or combining upper and lowercase letters and allowing the common phrases and words. Pause the video for a minute and try to discover by yourself what is the asset, vulnerability, threat, and the risk in this scenario. Here's the answer.
That's the end of this lecture. Thanks guys for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the lecture. My best wishes for all cyber guards and privacy advocates around the world. Goodbye and see you in the next video.